Pelicans start off the season 2-0. We're going to get into it. Before we get into the show, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Sunday show starting right now.
First took away. Dance with this. Get your money's worth.
All right, before we get in the show, a couple shout outs. First off, Ross, happy birthday. It was your birthday on Saturday. But also we got to shout out Jarrett, man, covering opening night in Memphis. And then also last night, man, Jarrett, how was Memphis first off? What was that experience like? And then we're going to get into like kind of what we've seen this week from the Pelicans.
I'm going to first apologize if my internet is kind of choppy, but Memphis was cool, bro. I enjoyed the city. There was a couple things that I kind of noticed. Like, it's a fairly clean place. Like, I was like, wow, this is nice. FedEx Forum is levels above Smoothie King Center. Not just from like a fan experience, that's even better, but like just their operational thing is just like amazing. Like, oh, this is how they operate. They even had like a Wi-Fi specifically for the media. It was like, all right, this makes sense, you know. But yeah, man, I enjoyed it. Memphis was cool. Their staff was pretty welcoming. They kind of walked me through stuff. I told them this was my first time visiting. Yo, look, let me give you a tour. I was like, oh, okay, this is pretty cool. So yeah, man, enjoyed it. Even the team, like the Pelicans, like I guess the players seeing that, this guy's on the road now. It's like a different environment. So yeah, it was pretty cool to see.
And if you haven't checked out Jarrett's article, he's got sit down with Jordan Hawkins on a one-on-one interview, and that was a really, really well-written article. So make sure you check that out. It's on the website. It's also on Jarrett's Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. But we're getting right in the show, because Lito, Ross, and I have been on the last couple streams. But Jarrett, I'm gonna start with you because Lito had mentioned a couple podcasts ago the chemistry between Ziion Williamson and Brandon Ingram and how it's just different from years past. What have you seen in these last two games?
All right, so now that I have like this locker room access, like these dudes have a relationship. They have some semblance of a relationship now. It's not like I don't rock with this person. No, they joking with each other. They're talking about certain things that I'm not going to say on here, but like they're people. Like why do y'all think like there's this beef between them? It's not. They're people that one work together. I don't know. Again, I don't know if their relationship is like their best buds or nothing like that, but they seem to have a pretty great work relationship. I know it ain't like signature handshakes and stuff like that on the court. Who cares? They trying to get a dub, and I think that's the most important thing. And Zion said that last night. Like, our main goal is winning. All that other stuff can, who cares? We trying to get the win. So
I could tell you who cares. Chris Vernon cares.
Jesus Christ, that guy. I'm glad we brought up. We'll get into that in a little bit. Lito, so game one felt like Zion Williamson kind of took over there. Game two felt like Brandon Ingram kind of had control of that game there. What have you seen from them, and that can they continue this throughout the year?
Oh, absolutely. I think we haven't even reached the point of supremacy yet. I feel like we really just in the early exploratory stages of the relationship. Like it's so many hills that they can climb. Like when you talk about duos in the West, you heard what Willie said the other night. I mean, why not, right? Like if you get continuity in the health department, they genuinely, like Fob said, he's in the locker room. I'm not in the locker room like that, but like they genuinely look like they chill. They genuinely look like they enjoy playing together, right? Like you see it. Like Brandon is starting to look for easy points for Zion on the oops. Brandon is directing. I wrote this in the article I wrote. Brandon has pretty much been a maestro. He's maestroing the hell out of the situation. He's pointing to guys to get to certain spots, and I don't want to say Zion is falling in line with that, but he's allowing Brandon to lead him to where he needs to be, so he can, be I want to say on the same page with him. Yeah, I mean, basically, they're just working to get on the same page. It looks great to me.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because I want to hear all y'all's thoughts on this. Ross, I'll start with you, because what are your thoughts? Like, and look, I've seen some debates on Twitter, and even Lito, I think Chris, and maybe even Five did a show on this, like the top duos in the league, and Willie Green consistently saying, even before, after games, practice, saying that they're the best duo. What is that? I guess, how take me through Brandon and Zion, like when they're hearing that, what does that do for them and their confidence?
Well, I mean, it's a positive thing, right? You always want your. I mean, I think if nothing else, it shows that your coach, thinks highly of you, both personally and professionally. So like that vote of confidence, I think that's not something that Willie's saying behind closed doors, or that's not something that he's saying, in bad times when you think you got to prop somebody up. Like he's saying that in front of the entire team after the first game. So it's a big deal because I think it's sort of setting a tone for everybody else too. But going back to the way they play and kind of Brandon leading things, I guess I'm curious to ask a question back to you guys is I mean, they've been together, 4 years now. A lot of that has been sporadic with injuries and stuff. But how much of this, but I say that to say that they do have some history on the court, right? Like that they played together. But how much of the continuity that we've seen over these first couple games is due to coaching and the change in strategy and the change in philosophy? I mean, I'm asking that question to you guys because to me, I mean, I feel like it's a lot. I mean, I don't maybe these guys have changed as people and changed the players a little bit, but I'm curious to know what y'all's opinion of that is.
I'll start. It's almost like you ever seen people try to like make gumbo outside of Louisiana? Like they may have like all you know what I'm saying? They may have like all like the right pieces, right? They may have like exactly what you have, but they just don't know how to like put it in order. And that's what we're seeing, right? We're seeing like the assistance of James be like, no man, you gotta make your roof first. Like you gotta hold on before we do that. Like let's do this first before we start making the rice. The rice gonna be cold by the time it gets there. Like hold on, let's do this first. And I think that's what's happening, right? Like I think there's a semblance of order now. Like hey, this is what we're gonna do, and it's gonna make sense. And you see like, and I know pictures are they say it's worth 1,000 words, but you'll see pictures of Brandon and Zion having conversations with James, like posted by the Pelicans, like their arms over there, laughing, they're joking, like, yo, that's what it seems like. Like, okay, we understand, and I think Willie's really good, a really good coach. Let's not make this like, oh, James came in and is better now. Like, okay, cool, but a coach got you a 6 defensive efficiency, like he's still a good coach, and that's not even paying more dividends. Now it's like, now I got a more offensive minded offensive coordinator. Imagine if the Saints had this, right? And you're almost like you're seeing like the budding edge of like, oh, it's making sense now. Now they're all on the same page. So, Ross, if that's the answer to your question, is like, all right, the gumbo's actually tasting good now.
I was to say, Lee, I was on pitch to you, but I'm glad you saw that because, like, just the adjustments from the coaching staff is just night and day. It's through 2 games. It's night and day. But go ahead, Leo.
I think it's 50-50.
50-50
of just personal and professional growth. Plus,
I think Brandon, both kind of had some hardships this summer in different ways. Brandon with FIBA, it didn't go as he wanted, and Zion, with whatever was going on personally, that was exposed to the public. Nobody wants their life, whether basketball wise, with Brandon to be, spoken on in the way that it was, especially on Twitter. And you don't want Zion's personal life being thrust into, the spotlight also. And I think when you have those factors, you and he sit down and you come together and you say, hey, well, Brandon feels like the NBA fucked over him. Zion might feel like the media fucked over him. All right, well, cool. Well, how can we get together and rectify the situation? Like we gonna be on the same page. We gonna ball out. You know what I'm saying? We gonna play together. And I think Borrego, to Fav's point, as with Willie, as with all the rest of the coaching staff, have done a good job because Brandon and Zion are naturally talented. They're naturally gifted, but they don't know how to win. They've never won before. You need somebody to come in and set the table and show you, yeah, you can do it that way, right? Like, for instance, Brandon's mid-range mastery. Yeah, it's unstoppable, right? But let's just say maybe you go a little bit faster. Let's say you get an easier shot. let's say maybe, you start reverse pivoting and then you find an assist on a back cut. Like, you've been seeing this year. I think it's little things like that. It's kind of little tweaks and things. That's why I say 50-50.
Because Jarrett, you brought up a really good point before we even got on about a Kyra Lewis, just like little segment. We don't have to get into that, but it's about having a role and having an identity. And I feel like and you've been saying this for years now, but I feel like this team now, you add Borrego, you add Aaron Miles, like you add these guys, you make some adjustments. And I said this last night, I feel like Willie Green has been very assertive. I've been watching him. I watched him all game on the sideline last night. Calm down, Lito. Watched it, just his mannerisms and what he did. And I felt like he was assertive. I felt like he knew what he was going to do. He had a game plan and he kind of exceeded it. And not to mention, these guys are playing their ass off defensively. So, I mean, I think I just think they've been bought in. And Jared, I think they have an identity now.
Yeah. You can see it in the effort. And when you really notice it is the young guys. Right, I think it's like a trickle down effect. Justin, you posted a video of Jordan Hawkins guarding. I don't know if this is part of the segment, but I'm gonna talk about it now. Bump it.
You're good.
So Jordan Hawkins is guarding quickly, right? A really good shifty guard, and he guards him for 10 seconds. 10 seconds in the NBA is seems like forever. Playing a guy like that. All right. Chases him is on the left wing. All right, there's an eyes in there. Herb is surveying like a goddamn safety serpent, just understanding like, oh, you can't get here. No. I got my guys back playing safety. Then Jordan presses him. He tries to go over. He tries to use a screen. Jordan goes over the screen. Jonas is there for help. Nope. Herb's still on the backside like, nah, that's not happening again. Then he's forced to give the ball up to the wing. Herb gets a block. There's so many things happening on this play that I love. That just like this one instance. But these are young guys.
And that's probably the worst defensive group you could possibly put on a court for the Pelicans roster.
But defense is so contagious, right? You see one guy doing it, and then the other guy joins, and it forces you to, oh, no, I have to do my part because they're giving max effort. And I think this is like, Herb Jones playing secondary is like the greatest thing I've ever seen right now. Like he picks up 2 charges. He picks up one with 4 fouls. That's like to know.
I didn't realize he had 4 fouls.
Yeah, he picks up one. He gets a charge call with 4 fouls. You know the trust you have to have in your ability. And no, you know when you get a charge, you're probably playing help defense, right? Like we're gonna talk about Herb another day, but like this dude is elite. And Zion even said it. Like he said, I didn't think he can get better at defense. And I think we're seeing like, oh, this is like the elite defender that the world's gonna know about.
And look, we grew up watching Ed Reed, and Lito had Herb Jones, and then asked him, to compare him to Ed Reed, and Herb was like, that was literally my favorite football player. He literally plays like him. And in that possession you're talking about, Jared, he goes from the left side, he goes to the hole, he goes to the right side, he gets through. CJ McCollum opens up and then blocks the shot. He's just all over the place. Ross, I guess let's talk a little bit about what you liked about Borrego, and what you've seen a little bit, the difference from this year's offense to last year's offense.
I mean, there's certainly a plan in place, but I mean, the one thing, and I think this is probably more of an outcome than a symptom, or I'm looking at the end result of what's happening, but we're getting just a lot better looks from 3, like just a lot better. And I don't know what the numbers are. If there's some numbers through the first 2 games are saying we're taking more than we took last year, it kind of feels like we are, but I'm not sure. But just the quality of those looks, it feels night and day. I mean, a lot of the 3-pointers we took last year were either rushed or coming out of isolation or into the shot clock. I don't want to call them prayers, but into the shot clock type stuff. I mean, this year it feels like it's an outcome of a set, or it's an option within a set where we're manufacturing good looks from 3. And we didn't make as many last night as we made in game 1, and that's okay. That's going to happen. but we still made a bunch. And it just feel, I mean, that's the one thing I keep taking away is like, damn, you get these kind of looks every game in the NBA, like we're going to be straight.
Yeah.
We're going to be all right.
No, yeah, and I agree with that. Lito, what I've kind of noticed, and I'm here interested in Jared's thoughts too. It's less sets and more like principle.
Maybe. Yeah,
Thank you.
like,
Principle and philosophy. Like, hey, it's a read and react, and then that's what Borrego was bringing. But it feels like it's less like, all right, let's set up in our triangle and the two guys in the corner now. It's like we're in motion now. We're moving. We're screening. We're rolling. We're lifting. Are you seeing that too?
Yeah, I think the difference in the Ross's question about the movement, I think the difference for me is what you just said. It's the principality of it, and I think that what happens is last year you saw when the play broke down, it reverted back to one-on-one basketball. You fighting demons because that's what you know, right? And you still kind of fighting demons this year because it's fresh. It's a new style of play that maybe you haven't been accustomed or haven't been forced to play. But the difference is now when the play does break down and the look that you were going for is not there, there's more movement on either the weak side. I've been seeing the weak side, so I'm gonna stay there on the weak side, and the lanes have tended to be open for either Brandon or Zion to drive, or CJ for that matter. And it's just worked out really well offensively for them.
Yeah, that's well said. Jared, go ahead.
Nah, Ross, you said something. And it kind of reverts back to like Matt Ryan, right? He goes 1 for 8 last night, right? Yeah, I don't care. I don't think he shot a bad shot at all. I don't care that guy went 1 for 8 because every shot looked good. Every one of them. They ran a play for him to get a bucket. He pump fakes, sends a guy to like the second row, and he misses. Do I care? No. Why? Because it was a good shot to a shooter in a corner. That's essentially what you want, right? Like you get enough of those shots, eventually the numbers are balanced. And Ross, you know what's crazy? They're not shooting as many threes. They're shooting about the same amount right now.
Really?
Not. And Willie's like, no, we got to get more up. Like, okay, we're gonna get more good shots up.
Yeah, but
That's the beauty of it. And we got a guy in Zion and another guy in JV that can score in the paint. And Brandon wants to score in the mid range. And I think the thing that really helps everything is CJ. I don't think we talk about him enough, but CJ is I don't know how many pull up mid ranges he's taken this season.
That's a good point. That is a really good point.
I don't think it's a lot. But you're telling a good guy. Go ahead.
I didn't want to forget this, Five, because you brought up an incredible point about Matt Ryan, because I broke down a set today. So it was late in the first quarter. We're in transition, and Brandon Ingram's on the left block, and Matt Ryan's on the right wing. And Jalen Brunson, instead of being in help, is literally on Matt Ryan. Like, legitimately, there's no space. And what does that result? It results literally Brandon Ingram being one-on-one on the block on Josh Hart, where he hits a little fadeaway, like 7-footer. Just because he went 1 for 8 does not tell the whole story of what Matt Ryan can do. And that's where I think we're going to lead into this next point here. Lito, I'll start with you. When Naji comes back and Trey comes back, and Jose comes back,
right?
What happens? Because right now, like, I know it's 2 games, it's really early, but right now there's some real good chemistry going on. What happens when those 3 guys come back, and whose spots are they taking?
Let me say this first. Matt Ryan had one of the best 1 for 8 performances I've ever seen in my life. Honestly.
I don't think Buddy played a bad minute.
Dog, like, I'm looking at everything like, the shot not falling. Well, bro, he doing so much other shit.
I think he was plus 15. Like, before the garbage minutes, he was plus 15. Like,
multiple steals. He had 2, or he had multiple deflections, 1 steal, and I think he had that where he beat Josh Hart to the floor and like flipped it out, like a hustle play.
He was plus 20 the other night in Memphis. I'll say this. I know you asking me about the minutes question, Justin. Me and you had a conversation yesterday. I'll just kind of briefly say what I said. The difference between Matt Ryan and a lot of guys on this roster, probably besides Jose, is Matt. Nothing has been promised to Matt. He has had the fight tooth and nail for every NBA minute of his career, and he understands that. Like that 1 for 8, I'm telling you right now, he's like those 7 that he missed. I'm telling you, he can't sleep. He's probably stayed up all night because he's like, damn, I might not see the floor again. I might not get this opportunity again. And he lives with that. And I think that it's gonna be hard for Willie to reduce his minutes and or not play him. Naji coming back, like I mean, I feel like you gotta. I mean, bro, it's hard to take shooters off the floor. First and foremost, especially in today's NBA, like it's kind of like a sin. Like you sinning if you taking guys off the floor who have that kind of gravity, whether it be Hawk or Matt. I feel like it's probably going to be. I think it kind of depends on Matt Ryan's shooting going forward. Unfortunately. But I think when Naji comes back, he probably will get cut into some of Matt's minutes. Maybe Matt, maybe Hawk. I mean, Trey, then Jose. I mean, yeah, man. I don't envy Willie's job, bro. I don't.
Because, okay, I think the Matt Ryan, Naji Marshall thing's interesting. Trey Murphy's going to get 30 plus minutes. I'm not worried about that. We'll figure that out. The Jose thing is interesting to me, Ross, because it's been 2 games. I get it, but like I'm rooting for Kyra. Like I really am. It's just like it's just not there. Yeah. It's not. Like, he's not impacting the game. It's not like he's like really messing up. I just feel like he's not really impacting the game.
Yeah, that for me is the easy one of all of them, is because I think Jose just comes in and immediately takes those minutes.
Yeah,
unquestioned. Because of some of the things that we know Jose is going to do, right? Like he's going to pick up full court. He's going to be a pest. He's going to make some energy plays. And it's not like Kyra's giving you a whole lot offensively, right? Like, I mean, I think that part is at least, I mean, if I'm assuming Jose comes back and he's healthy too, right? Like if he's the player he was, in the playoffs and to start, 2 years ago and then to start last year, really affecting games off the bench. That to me is just a no-brainer. I've seen, I mean, I'm not writing the guy off, but like, I haven't seen enough of Kyra over the 4 years he's been here. Granted, he's dealt with some injuries and other things to make me say that's a guy you just can't take out of the rotation. I don't personally see that right now. And you said it best. I mean, Trey Murphy's gonna, like, we're over here talking about Matt Ryan. Like, Trey Murphy's one of the legitimate best shooters in the NBA. Period. No caveats, no buts, no ands. Like he's gonna play a lot. Naji's an interesting one for me because that one's a little more based on, I guess, what you're looking for on a night-to-night basis. I mean, would it surprise me if he dips into some of Dyson's minutes and some of Larry's minutes and some of Hawk's minutes? Like, no. But at the same time, I like, that's a good problem to have. Like, all those guys aren't going to play every night. And that's okay. Like, that's okay. You don't have to play 12 guys. I mean, if you've got a good thing going, you stick with what you got. And Naji has to come in and earn those minutes again. Like, we want, if you're winning, you don't just start changing stuff to incorporate a guy. I mean, what was Naji last year? Where is he in the pecking order, right? Like 8th guy, 7th, 9th, depending on if everybody's healthy. Like, you're not like busting up a rotation to incorporate a guy like Naji Marshall. Absolutely no disrespect to him. I think he can do some quality things off the bench. I think there's certainly a place for him in the rotation, but gun to your head right now, like, you want Matt Ryan out there or you want Naji Marshall out there for 10 minutes a night?
I'll be honest.
Maybe depends on the game.
I mean, I like Naji. I think he does. I think his shot is, again, I thought his shot was going to be better. I think he was going to shoot a good percentage from 3. Mm-hmm. Even you saw some times in the preseason. Although I don't think he had a great preseason. There was some times where he did knock down a couple shots. Mm-hmm. It's not Matt Ryan, though. What is really interesting, I think Trey is like the needle mover for me. And it's not just necessarily where you put Trey Murphy on the floor. It's like, if Trey can rebound, you don't need Larry anymore.
Yeah.
Right. That allows you, and then that frees up room for everybody else. And I'm not saying like Larry's a bad player. Like, like Larry. I like Larry a lot. But you can just see right now he's not like thoroughly healthy. He's not moving in a way that Larry Nance is accustomed to moving. But effective, right? I think he did some good things. But if Trey Murphy can kind of take that pressure off you that you kind of have, I mean, hell, Willie had to go with Cody Zeller last night. Like Cody Zeller was setting screens, getting rebounds, and almost still can kind of provide you some finishing ability on the offensive end. And right now, just Larry isn't there. I think the injury is really just catching up with him. But if Trey can come in and screen and rebound and still knock down shots, again, I think put the shooter as a screener is like the moment, right? It's the moment like, oh, it's a screener roll with Trey Murphy and Zion at the top of the key, and then he has to pick and pop.
And we've been talking about the effectiveness of that 4-out lineup, right? That you saw a little bit in game one, and you saw it again last night. Like plug Trey Murphy into that. Like it's one of the best shooters in the NBA. Like a legitimate 6'10", 6'11", like multifaceted player. Like that is he is a needle mover. Like he's a big needle mover potentially in this offense and the way we're doing things right now.
I think we're forgetting one thing though, and Jarrett gets to see it almost every day. He started putting it on the floor a little bit last year. Like he had a little crossover and was dunking on some people and taking it to the rim. Dude, I'm not saying he's like a superior ball handler or like anything, but he comes like a 3-level scorer. Like, oh my God.
You don't have to be. Like
that's what I'm saying. That, but he has the ability. Like, I understand that, but he has the ability to already be.
But when you shoot that well and you're that athletic, like you don't have to have a great handle. Like you literally you can just pump and just go. Like the threat of the shot is so great that you're not really playing isolation. You're like the dude's already off balance. Like
not to mention he's one of the best free throw shooters in the league. Like this dude, I'll tell you. That's why like the title of this is like, can the Pelicans make noise in the West, Lito? I mean, look, it's 2 games in. We did the same thing last year. But really, honestly, if they stay healthy, and then you add a Trey Murphy to the mix, and you add a Jose Alvarado, who we all know, like he's very, very important to this team. Not only on the court, but also off the court. The dude's been hurt, but last night he was like the ultimate cheerleader on the bench. Like, how good can this team be?
As good as they decide they want to be. Honestly, like the sky's the limit for that. Like you said, it's just dependent on health. I mean, if you told me this team finished top 6 in the West, I wouldn't be surprised. If you told me this team finished bottom 9 playing team, I wouldn't be surprised. Like I just I don't know. You know what I'm saying? And it's not that I don't want to know, but I can only go off the history. Like the history is how we move forward. Unfortunately, like if you have a history, I have to chalk it up and be like, okay, then this is what you are. Now I will say it's only been 2 games. And I'm not even talking health wise, but it's only been 2 games. Stylistically, this team feels different.
Can I chime in? Remember when I asked Willie Green last year, and I didn't get the answer that I wanted to get. But remember when I asked Willie Green about like off-ball movement, and I said, have you guys had any conversations about it? The ball seems to be sticking a lot, and he said no. Right now, I don't believe him. Right, I just think he was just kind of like answering my answer a little bit sarcastically, like, "Of course, Jared, we asked the team to move the ball." You're not going to see this. Like that team last year was not going to win an NBA championship or really go deep in the playoffs because of the style that they played. Like it didn't have any organization, right? And I'm not saying like you had to put them in a box. You had to, all right, you would have set this screen, and this is going to happen like this, and it's going to magically work. No, I think the rules and the formula that they play with allows them to be free within a system, and this just looks better. I mean, they're not going to finish ninth. That I'm gonna make that proclamation for them. They're not, barring health, right? Barring health. But I don't think this team. I think this team has somewhat of an identity now, and it's like it's just brewing. The gumbo is just brewing at this point, and it's gonna work. It's just we got to foresee it through. Like we have to see it as it builds and builds and builds and builds.
All this gumbo talk, man. I want some next week. It's supposed to get cold.
Yeah,
Ross,
man.
what are you? Supposed to get 40s. Ross, what are you? What are your thoughts on that? And what Lito and Jarrett said in the original question?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of have to remind me what the original question was.
It was, can this team be? How dangerous can this team be in the West? I mean, and Lito and 5.
Yeah.
Nailed that.
I mean, and I think look, we all agree with the same thing. Health is the most important aspect of this. The continuity will continue to come, but I think through 2 games, I feel better about our long-term prospects than I did last year when we were sitting at whatever it was, 23-9 or whatever that number was. So take that for whatever it's worth. But through 2 games, I feel better about where we are than where we were at 23-9. I think that was the number. I feel like the way we play is better. I feel like the way it seems like we've made some changes almost defensively. I mean, what we did to the Knicks were in handcuffs last night. Handcuffs. I mean, it feels like we're doing some things even differently on the defensive side. Granted, the Grizzlies have a bunch of injuries and stuff. We held the Grizzlies to what? Like 28.5% from 3, something like that, maybe right around 40% from the field. Last night, basically the same thing. Offensively, those teams are, we're not going to hold everybody to 90 points, right? Or whatever. I think we had the Grizz 100 and the Knicks at 85, right? We're there's going to be some nights where we're going to have to win with offense, but getting the looks we get and continuing to play with sort of the defensive identity that we played with in the first 2 games, it just feels like this team has more. This is more sustainable than last year. Remember last year there were a lot of games. It's like, man, we're winning, but like
bad
thank God
process.
Zion. Yeah, like Zion went nuts. All right, that's great. It doesn't quite feel like that. Although one thing I did want to bring up from last night was Zion having no turnovers. Is that first game I think he had 3 or 4. Brandon had 5. Zion kind of cleaned up some of the ball, like some of the
the in and out. Oh, good.
But I mean, in a game where he takes 17 shots and has the ball as much as he does, and he has no turnovers, like we're going to be hard to beat. And Brandon had 5 last night. I think when that number gets, with him getting more comfortable, once that number gets like, we're going to be it's a tough team when things are going. Like I said, I feel better about where we are today than where we were last year.
Damn.
I do.
Go ahead, Jared.
Hey, bro, that in and out, man. I keep saying it after that game. This is like the second night in a row he's done it. That single hand, bro. Listen, I don't know if y'all played, right? And I don't know if the viewers like it. Hey, bro, you just sitting on the crossover, and that is just one-handed, and he's going, and he's so low, and then he explodes out of the pause. Mm-hmm. Like it's so quick. You know what I'm saying? Like it happens so quickly. And then he's at the rim, and he has like this super feathery touch. Like the ball is like barely touching the glass. Like what
is it? The greatest touch you've ever seen? I'm not being biased. I swear to God, I don't remember a player having this. What?
It's the second greatest.
Who?
Kyrie.
Okay, sorry. Okay, that's fair. Kyrie's actually ridiculous. But Zion, oh my God, he put one on like literally the top of the backboard over Mitchell Robinson last night.
But to me, I mean, Kyrie's is more creative, no doubt. But to Five's point, with how aggressive Zion is from floor to the rim, I mean, just think about that. Like, I mean, and maybe it's obviously an easier jump for him than it would be for any of us. But with how explosive he is off the floor, for the physics, for the ball to leave his hand with a little bit of rotation, so that even when it hits it's impressive. It is an impressive quality of his game.
The physics of it. I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, like the fact that he's moving so fast, but yet his arm moves slow.
Yeah,
is the weirdest. Like how are you doing that? Like how can you?
Who struggles that? Kyrie Lewis. Like Kyrie Lewis is so fast and just everything goes so fast. Like he's got no like real touch, right? Like Zion is the complete opposite. That's a really good point. 5.
The velocity that he takes off with, and then he's able to slow his momentum down in suspended animation kind of and puts the ball like and is able to put English on it at that point. Able to put English on the ball at that point. It just really the physics of it does not make sense. It's like E does not equal MC squared at that point. It's somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's up with you, man? What's
Hell yeah.
I'm not this dude just dropped some knowledge on y'all.
Yeah,
man, that was good stuff.
Back
man.
Come on, man.
He got his speaker on. Yeah, he rolling.
Yo. Okay, Lito, that's impressive. Presented by Crystal Hot Sauce, official hot sauce, Buku Media, Ross. Actually, Lito, I'm gonna start with you.
All right.
Who's been your biggest surprise?
Let him stay hot.
Let him stay hot. Hey, feed the hot hand, baby. Jordan Hawkins. Who's been your biggest surprise so far through the first 2 games?
Matt Ryan.
Go ahead.
No,
I want you to explain.
I mean,
Like,
like
I feel like okay, go ahead.
I knew he was a shooter. I knew he could shoot the ball, obviously, from how he put, he sent us home from LA last year. So I saw that. But the thing I didn't know about him was I didn't really Five, you keep the glasses on, because I didn't know his IQ was so high. I didn't know he was I knew he was a shooter. And this is probably gonna sound crazy, but I didn't know he was I didn't know he was a hooper. I didn't know he was a basketball player. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a difference. Like, if nothing, Kyle Korver, right? I think he's just a guy you put out there, he's just gonna shoot the ball. Kyle Korver, he may give you defensive effort, but it's not really gonna make a difference much. Man, Matt had a couple plays in the last 2 games where if the defense left him or if they closed out too quickly, put the ball on the floor and he made the next pass. He got Jonas a shot.
Last night on Chase, he hit a pocket pass.
Yeah, he was telling them, and he hit a pocket pass. And the other thing too is like he is a study on how players, preferably Trey, could learn from him on how to use his pump fake. He uses his pump fake to his advantage. Doesn't need any extra dribbles. The pump fake is the weapon. And then from that point, is you know what I'm saying? Like Matt Ryan has been a huge. Man, I hate to say a revelation because I feel like I'm reaching, but fuck, he been playing like a revelation.
Look, I'm gonna let you go 5 here in a second. I don't want to forget this because I've been trying to upload this clip, but I want to show y'all. And for the people listening on podcast, you're obviously not gonna be able to see it, but this is the touch Ziion Williamson has. So as you can see, just kind of keys him up here, and then that's what I'm talking about. That's just not normal. He touches it so soft off the glass that it hits the back of the rim and falls in, and it goes right over Mitchell Robinson.
You know the crazy thing about that though. Usually when you playing basketball and you receive the first bump, the contact, and your hand is going up, right? Like, all right. So like at this point, you know what I'm saying? So at this point, right, he takes the bump, boom. Yo, so he has a moment where he's up and then he adjusted even further to the left. Yo, you're not supposed to be able to do that. That does not happen. Usually you take this bump, right? And your trajectory of the ball is going in the opposite side of your body. You know what I'm saying? Like it's following your momentum, and he's able to convert that back the opposite way.
And then also in that, I'm my bad, Ross. I'll let you go in a second, but Five, I wanted to point this out to you. Look, even if he misses this, right? Just say Zion misses it. Cody Zeller, though, in position, like that's a dunk right there. No matter what, no matter what you're scoring on that possession.
Hey, can you run it back for me one more time? Time. I promise. Listen, when he start pulling that shot right there, I wish we could have paused it. I wish.
I don't know if I can pause it.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
I can't pause
when he start pulling from the free throw line, when the confidence is there from the free throw line.
He did it in that Grizzlies game. But I mean,
it's a soft touch too. Like it's a sweet, soft jumper.
And he's working on, like, if you watch pregame, like he's working on the mid-range jumpers, screen, like right there, bro. When that happens, it's curtains, bro. It's curtains.
Well, I want to get back to the biggest surprise thing, but I did the same thing with that clip. Is like I can remember having the same thought about Russell Westbrook when there was a time where it's like, oh, he can't, he's not a great shooter and all this stuff. You don't guard Zion. Like, this is not how you guard Zion Williamson.
Nope.
Like letting him get a 3 dribble head start is like it's a death
Stupid.
sentence. Like
Yeah.
that is just not that. I mean, I'm not coaching defense in the NBA, probably for good reason.
And time to go.
That ain't how you guard him.
And time
Know
to
that.
go elite coach defensively. And there's just
That's
no
probably more
answer for it.
Julius Randle.
He finished over Mitchell
Yeah,
Robinson.
Of course.
He's finished over Mitchell Robinson and Jaren Jackson Jr. Like Jaren got him once. He got him once early, and so did Mitchell. But like he won the matchups. Like Zion easily won the matchups.
He's 6'6", and Zion. I mean, Zion's 6'6". Eventually, some guys are going to block the shot. Like let's not be remiss.
Yeah.
Like, all right, he's not jumping over everybody, but he's going to win more times than he's going to lose. Like it just happens. Biggest surprise for me is I was going to go with Jordan Hawkins, but I knew that they just did. Like, the internet just didn't know. It's really the CJ JV posted lineup. That's my one, because we've been texting about it, right? And I've been right. Let me just say that I've been right about this. And you're putting them out there with other competent basketball players. So you're gonna put them out there with a Herb, or I've seen it with a Dyson, and I've seen it with a Jordan Hawkins, and I've seen it with Matt Ryan. And like, okay, we're gonna play through us. Y'all just shoot if it comes to y'all, and make a good play. And I think Willie Green has done a really great job of instilling confidence in these guys. Like, Jordan Hawkins doesn't shoot a fast break, one dribble pound, step back through if he doesn't have the confidence to say, if I miss this, I'm going to be benched for it. You don't shoot that if you don't have that reassurance. And I think he has it, right? And even in these lineups, it's like CJ looked for him, right? They're looking for each other. Then the beginning of the fourth, I even talked to Willie about this. And I think he really responded well to, JV, sustaining their going against the Knicks drive, like stopping their drive. I think he had like 3 straight buckets in the post, him and CJ pick and roll, or Jonas just catching it on a wing, shooting over the defense. Like, those lineups will, forge you bigger leads. I think they've grown the lead twice, and back-to-back games, of course, only 2 games, but to, them to garner more leads without Zion, without Brandon, is almost like, oh, we can play this style too, not just leaning on Brandon, leaning on Zion for us to just be a good team. Like, no, we could be a good team even without them if we just play this style with this group.
Damn. Good answers. Ross, biggest surprise.
Yeah, I mean, look, you might want me to say Herb Jones starting the year 4 out of 5 from deep, but I'm too smart for that. Too smart for that. I'm going to go with what Bob said he was going to say. Jordan Hawkins. I thought, look, understand the shooting, all that. I get all that. It's tough for rookies in the NBA. Like, it is tough. Teams are smart. They pick on those guys. They don't have the experience. A lot of them don't have the confidence that Bob just alluded to. They don't always have the trust of their coaches. There's a lot of coaches in the NBA that, like, the leash is so short that you miss a shot, you miss a rotation, you miss an easy rebound, you pick up a silly foul, silly turnover, you're out. It's tough in the NBA for rookies. The fact that he's come in and played with the confidence that he's played with, we've seen the shooting, he's looked competent defensively. I'm surprised by that. I was surprised by it. I didn't know if he was ready to, like, contribute meaningful NBA minutes in October. I think he's played well enough to where I feel, kudos to him, kudos to the staff, whoever, for giving him the opportunity and for, giving him the confidence that I've just alluded to, because I did not expect him to contribute this early.
And I think there's all a common theme here. And my biggest surprise is actually Willie Green, because I think our biggest knocks on Willie Green were, 1, being assertive, and 2, like being able to adjust. And through the first 2 games, right, I've seen him adjust, where he throws in Matt Ryan. I really didn't honestly expect Matt Ryan to play. No. Matt Ryan's just hot as a firecracker. I mean, he's, I think, the first 3. And I think the 4th one rims out. It's like, you're good, man. Like, I think whoever said, Lito or Chris, I said, hey, like, Matt Ryan started to walk off the court, and, like, Willie's like, nah, bro, like, you're in, dude. Like, stay in the court, like, stay on the court. I thought that was great. I love how Willie's been subbing at the end of quarters when we have an offensive possession, like 4 seconds left. Like, let's get all of our shooters in. Everyone out. Let's get all of our shooters in. Let's get our best scorers on the court. I've been loving that. I think he's taken a couple good timeouts. And then also, like, Jared, I don't know if you've realized it. You've been at both games. I've been at one. Like, I feel like he's been more on the refs. I feel like he's been chirping a little bit more towards those refs. I know that they didn't shoot a lot of free throws last night, but they definitely shot it in Memphis.
I mean, that's the game within the game, right? That's the game that he has to play with the refs to get his guys certain calls, is because that can win them or lose you games. And not only can that win you or lose you games, that can win you or lose your job. Like that's important. These small elements matter in the grand scheme of things. The small elements of, remember when Zion got hurt because people were just slapping the shit out of him a couple years ago, like he hurt his wrist or something like that.
Yeah.
This is what matters. Getting those things, getting those conversations started early, so you don't have to deal with that later, or you don't incur an injury because you weren't protecting the guy early on. Like that matters. And I think he's done a really great job of mixing in lineups and understanding that every NBA minute matters. Don't waste no minute trying to be cute or give a guy this or give a guy that. No, because at the end of the day, the win matters. Not if Zion scores 30 points, not if Brandon scores or shoots 29 times. None of that shit matters. You know what matters? The win.
Damn. That really... I just feel like, I don't know. Am I crazy for saying like I feel like this is different? Am I just being an asshole? Like, I feel like maybe I say this every year, but I just feel like it's different.
Justin in love, bro.
I just think if Willie would just curse, I didn't tell you this last night. Matt Ryan, like back to Matt Ryan and the way he communicates, dude. Like that dude plays every game like it's game 7. Like towards Lito's point, man, like he knows he's got to really work his ass off to earn that contract. But like I feel like that's just in his DNA. But I feel like people are also, was that one of Zion Williamson's best defensive performances last night?
I think he spotted
I mean, just effort wise, I thought he was fantastic. He shut down Brunson multiple times last night.
Who?
I mean, yeah.
Oh, your boy Jalen. Your boy Jalen.
Oh.
Listen. I mean, there's a guy named Herb, and I think this is the part of the show where we should give it to our our people that are subscribed to the
the members only,
the members only joint. So like Herb, I'm telling you, it's infectious, man. When that guy is taking charges and blocking shots and doing this and doing that, and I think Dyson is somewhat similar to that. It's like, oh, he's getting in on those rotations, and eventually, hopefully, the confidence will come from him on the offensive end. But defensively, I think they're hanging their hat on. Like, no, what is this? 2 times they've held a team under 100. I know Memphis got over 100, but realistically, they couldn't get 100, and they did it again last night. And I'm like the semblance of, okay, we're a really good defensive team, and we're going to shoot good shots offensively. I don't know how you beat a team that's going to consistently, bring that effort every night. Hopefully they do, but 9 times out of 10, that garners you a lot of wins in the NBA.
This is more sustainable. That's like the word I keep coming back to. Like this product is more sustainable than last year.
Right. And how many times have we? I was gonna say, how many times last year we would go on? We faced a team on a back-to-back, and I feel like we would just come out flat-footed. Last night, like we punched them in the mouth, like literally held them to 12 points in the first quarter, 19 points in the fourth quarter. They were the. I didn't know if I got.
You get punched in the mouth. It's 12 points. 12 points in the NBA game in a quarter. The Pelicans used to do that. They were the ones that would give you 12 points in a quarter. Like
that's a fact. Leo, go ahead, man. You've been too quiet. You've been way too quiet for me tonight. Way too quiet.
Yeah, I thought I was talking.
Professor. He got his.
I don't think he said that's crazy. That's one night.
I was checking my speech. I didn't want to say anything too egregious tonight. I've been making sure I didn't cross any lines. You know what I'm saying?
Why's that? What did I miss?
No, I just didn't want to. I didn't want to have to pause anything. I wanted a clean game. I watched the tape. I made sure that like when I reviewed the film.
What you said on Monday, Ross. That was one of the. Oh, Jared, you missed it, yo. That was one of the. Oh no, Jared, you actually commented on it. You saw it, but like, Jared said it was so bad that he had a comment on it literally after the game that he was covering the game. Like, it was that bad. That was that bad.
Hey,
Sorry,
look,
man.
man, his first game, we're improving. That's all that matters.
I gotta show this one more time. This is crazy. Also, shoot it just right there, but
I mean, all right, go back to it, run it back again. We talk about this. All right, there's Brandon on the wing. You got Jordan Hawkins right there, so Grimes can't help out as much. And
Brunson knows. Brunson
knows a guy's been hot from the corner and from three, so he can't help out as much. And also, it's Zion Williamson. Are you really taking the charge right there, or trying to take a charge right there? Nope. So I'm gonna give you that one. Look, if I don't get it, I don't get it.
I wish I had that in and out move like ready to go. Thing was
never shoot that jumper. Keep going.
In the playoffs, he's gonna have to.
I like to see. Stop it.
He said, nah. He said, get there first. Bump all that.
Right. I like to see.
Back to your gumbo analogy, 5. We're doing this all wrong. We gotta make it first before we can get there, right? We're doing so many things wrong. All right, let's hear from our friends over there at DraftKings Sportsbook. NBA fans, the wait is over. Basketball's back, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, is celebrating with an unbeatable offer. New customers can score $200 instantly in bonus bets for throwing down $5 on the NBA. Win or lose, it doesn't matter. You'll start the season with an instant dub. Basketball's more fun when you're in on the action. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code BOOT. New customers can get $200 in bonus bets instantly for betting just $5. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code BOOT. The crown is yours. Recap: tomorrow night, play the Warriors. Then they are in Oklahoma City Wednesday. They get, is it Detroit at home Thursday, Atlanta home Saturday, I believe?
Yeah.
I think that's right. We'll see y'all tomorrow night. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.